Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show presents the Raw Ring Report. And what Monday Night Raw Ring Report we have for you coming up here on the Raw Ring Report? Yes, indeed. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Drew McIntyre demanding answers from MVP on who had attacked him last week with former Retribution's member T-Bar and Ace. I forgot his name. T-Bar and Rick Ace or something. They attacked Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre demand answers from MVP on what he did to him last week. Also, Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair was in action. And look at this, Charlotte Flair doing this damage right here, attacking a referee for no apparent reason. And also, we got a new ruling on what Charlotte will be suffering coming up sooner rather than later on what's her punishment, as well as unlikely force in Raw. Also, a lot going on too this week. As we talk about this, Marlo Ronaldo will be doing the Impact to be he's going to be a special guest commentator for Impact for their Rebellion pay-per-view to call the main event between Ken Omega and Rich Swann. Let's see. Hopefully they can land Morrow and a lot of stuff. All this and more when the Pro Wrestling Show presents the Raw Ring Report, and it starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show presents the Raw Ring Report. We talk about highlights from tonight's Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw was that. It was so, but it wasn't as usual. But first thing first, joining the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling Show here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the Pro Wrestling Show as we talk about the Monday Night Raw Ring Report. The Monday Night Raw Ring Report, Raw kicked off with former WWE Champion Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre demanding answers on what had happened to him last week on Raw when he was ambushed and attacked by T-Bar Mace of formerly Retribution. Well, Drew demanded that MVP comes out here and tells him why he did what he did. Drew wouldn't leave until the same old scenario happened again. After Drew got attacked again by T-Bar and Mace again, and MVP using them as his hitman, using to take out Drew McIntyre before Bobby Lashley have his impending WWE Championship match at WrestleMania Backlash, where Drew will challenge Bobby Lashley for the WWE title at Backlash. And you see right here, T-Bar and Mace walking out with MVP. You got to wonder, like, if MVP should tell them, like, if you get the job done, you can join the Hurt Business, and make them up, be refreshed, be remake over and stuff, instead of being like, company didn't do nothing with them, and then all of a sudden they're coming out swinging. So I don't know what WWE creators' mind is and their theory is on that. Well, former Hurt Business members Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander was in action as well as they went against the returning Viking Raiders, and the Viking Raiders done so much damage. I think Shelton and Cedric was trying to combat them like they did last week, but it didn't work this time too far. You see right here, they're trying to hit the blows, but the 1, 2, 3 right here, the finishing touches right here, got the win for the Viking Raiders over Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. It's like they jobbed them, and then they was part of the Hurt Business. Why they couldn't just stay in the Hurt Business? It's just my thing. My theory is keep if you got the bigger super group of the Hurt Business, but MVP stated that the Hurt Business is him and Bobby Lashley. Well, you got T-Bar and Mace, make them part of the official members of the Hurt Business. But you took your two hot workers, Benjamin and Alexander, you took them out, and you really ain't got nobody to replace. So it is what it is. Also, former women's champion Charlotte Flair, who returned last week on Raw, has a vendetta issue with women's champion Rhea Ripley and Asuka after Charlotte felt like she was snubbed at WrestleMania, not being in the women's championship match. Well, Charlotte will get her chance and opportunity in a WrestleMania rematch for WrestleMania New Orleans, where Charlotte defeated Asuka. And remember, Asuka was the winner of the Royal Rumble. Asuka chose Charlotte at that time, who was the champion. And Asuka um, didn't defeat Charlotte. Charlotte defeated her and ended her undefeated reign. So they had a little chatter that tonight, which was really about nothing. It was just about Charlotte wanted to prove something. Asuka wanted to prove something. Asuka called Charlotte, you know what, a bitch, and we'll leave it like that. Also in action, former United States champion Riddle was in action against Randy Orton. Randy Orton was scheduled to take on Braun Strowman, but change, as they say, subject to change. Well, Randy Orton went against Riddle, and it was a highly contested match. Randy Orton putting all the stops on Riddle until Riddle countered Randy Orton and pinned Randy Orton 1, 2, 3. So look for Randy Orton versus Riddle going down the floor with Randy Orton getting pinned by Riddle and feeling like that was a fluke, and Randy Orton wants that win. So look for them to feud down the future. So look for that. Also, women's tag team champion Nia Jax was in action with Shayna Baszler against Naomi and Lana. Naomi and Lana took advantage of a situation that Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke had left, and Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke was trying to distract Nia Jax. Nia Jax got her not trying to keep her head in the game, and Nia Jax got distracted, wanted to focus on the two blondes, and next thing you know, Lana and Naomi pick up a win and score a win. They might get a future women's tag team title shot down the road. Who knows? Probably this may be WrestleMania Backlash. Also, Miz, along time with his wife Maurice, did Miz TV about returning back on USA. Well, I call them the USA Power Couple since they've been on USA. Miz just toweling, and next thing you know, and mind you, we didn't see John Morrison. What's going on with John Morrison? They didn't even mention him. So I don't know. Lashley wasn't even mentioned either. Lashley wasn't there neither. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it was awful. They got rewritten because they were saying WWE was trying to had the last minute changes on rewritten the storyline. But Miz and Maurice had champagne. Damian Priest welcomed himself to drink some champagne, but Priest had he didn't like their taste of champagne. You know what they say, champagne wishes, caviar dreams, and stuff. But Damian Priest didn't like that. It led to a match later on between Miz and Priest. So we'll get to that later. Also, Drew McIntyre was in action in a handicap match against Mason T-Bar. You know, we told you that Mason T-Bar ambushed Drew in the beginning of the show, and they did last week as well. And they did that same move they did with MVP, trying to use him as his insurance policies for Lashley. Well, I guess, yeah. Well, you can see right here the suplex, a double suplex on Drew until Braun Strowman came out and made the save. Braun Strowman teamed with Drew to take on Mason T-Bar. And you can see right here, McIntyre removed Mace's mask, and Mace's mask was Dio Madden. And then Braun Strowman removed T-Bar's mask, which led to being Dominic Dijakovic. So they won the match against Drew, but we don't know what's going on forward with that. So we have to wait and see next week on Raw. Also, the New Day was in action as well. New Day was in action against Elias. I think you see that guitar riff where Elias was trying to play his music, and Xavier Woods came into the fray and said something that made Elias mad. And you can see right here Xavier Woods trying to point at Elias. But Elias and them won their match. So this rivalry continues on further between the New Day, Elias, and Rocker. Also, too, Miz went against Damian Priest with Maurice in his corner. We told you earlier that Damian Priest spat at the Miz and didn't like the Miz's type drink. And Priest went against Miz one-on-one due to the fact by Bad Bunny. And Damian Priest got the win over Miz without, tried to get Maurice's help with Miz with his wife like did last week, but that didn't turn out so well this week. So Damian Priest get the win over Miz, and I think this rivalry is far from over between these two. And you got to wonder what John Morrison got to wonder about that. Also, United States champion, new United States champion, Sheamus was in action. He did an open challenge at the suggestion of WWE official Adam Pearce. So Sheamus won anybody, and Berto Carrillo stood up. He won the challenge, but it just didn't boil down to him. He got beat up for his trouble. And Berto, I don't know what's he gonna do with Sheamus. Is Sheamus gonna be just, giving opportunity left and right and just picking the bones as he go? So we have to wait and see on that. Also, Asuka went against Charlotte Flair, WrestleMania rematch. Wasn't nothing to be determined who was going to be the number one contender. You can tell it could have been a number one contender match, but it wasn't. It was just a match one-on-one, former tag team partners. Charlotte Flair still feels some type of way of not being in the main event of WrestleMania, the women's title picture on Raw. While Charlotte delivered a running spear to Asuka, and Rhea Ripley got involved. Rhea Ripley was at ringside trying to watch the match and observe the match. For her trouble, she cost Charlotte her match. Charlotte flips out and go crazy and go bananas. She attacks the referee. She snaps. Charlotte Flair has snapped. She attacked the referee, mounting on him. And Charlotte just ain't a good look. And then talking about that, Charlotte had got suspended by Adam Pearce indefinitely, and she had to pay her $10,000 for putting her hands on the referee for unprofessional conduct. So that's the ruling we have got. So Charlotte, I don't know if she ain't gonna be in the women's title picture anytime soon. So this leaves another WrestleMania rematch between Rhea Ripley and Asuka. So who knows? Charlotte might come back in. Who knows? Charlotte might have something up her sleeve. So we just have to wait and see on that. But Charlotte, like I said, she got suspended definitely, and she had to pay a $10,000 fine. Ooh, we got $10,000 to give for like that. So I guess Charlotte do. All right, that ends the Raw Ring Report. Let's move on quickly for Hot Topics. On Hot Topics this week, WWE producer and TNA founder Jeff Jarrett will be joining Conrad Thompson. Conrad Thompson has a huge lineup of wrestling personalities such as Eric Bischoff, Tony Schiavone, Jim Ross, Arn Anderson, Kurt Angle. The list is more and more, and now Jeff Jarrett joins that list. He'll be doing My World. He'll talk about his time at TNA, WWE, WCW, and any other federations that we can name. So look for Jeff Jarrett, that podcast. I'm going to be listening to it real carefully and intently. Also, speaking of Jeff Jarrett's former company that he founded, Impact Wrestling, Impact has announced that former WWE play-by-play guy, SmackDown play-by-play guy, Mauro Ranallo, world-renowned color analyst, announcer, he will be calling the Rebellion main event featuring Rich Swann versus Ken Omega, title for title, the AEW title versus the Impact title. So something's got to give between Omega and Swann in that match. So look for that next week when we do Rebellion Predict the Outcome, a special Impact Rebellion for Predict the Outcome. So look for that. Also, we talked to you earlier last week about Samoa Joe and the rest of the WWE superstars being released. Samoa Joe, my thoughts on that is Samoa Joe has put in the work. He was close to being the Universal or WWE champion. Never came to fruition, but Joe did his best. So, like I said, whatever company gets him, they said Impact interested, AEW might be interested, but you can tell Samoa Joe is a phenomenal talent. Probably want to wrestling, but he was good commentating. I just didn't get why would they just let him go like that. And I understand they want to bring Pat McAfee and bring new eyeballs, but keep what you got. And he was one of the best commentators to me throughout the year. And then they kept him at WrestleMania to commentate, and then the next couple of days later, oh, here goes your pink slip. That's messed up. But it is what it is. Also, NXT last week, we saw the second wave of the women's evolution. You see right here, these three women are now current WWE Women's Champions, representing their specific brands. Bianca Belair represents SmackDown as the SmackDown Women's title holder. Rhea Ripley representing Raw as his title holder. Raquel Gonzalez as the NXT Women's Champion. These three WWE Women's Champs. I mean, it's like this is the second wave of the women's evolution. We had the four horsewomen, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks, and Bayley are the first wave. But the second wave is coming through with this new era of women's wrestling coming through. So look for that. All right, y'all. So, oh yeah, we show this to Triple H having this little shot. So we'll have tomorrow the NXT NXT report. I meant to say, saying predicted outcome, but NXT report tomorrow, covering highlights of NXT. We did so with the Monday Night Raw brand tonight. So, for me being Kendrick says so long, we'll see you tomorrow for NXT. See you later.